Can anyone confirm that you are able to see my laptop screen and I am audible and clear? Just you can post it in the chat channel. Thank you very much. So, just to give an introduction or kind of a short webinar about our course, right? So we are covering Power BI and PostgreSQL, right? And I'm the your trainer, Hari, Microsoft Power BI certified, right? And also I'm a AWS practitioner, certified practitioner. We are going to cover Power BI and PostgreSQL. So now why we are covering Power BI and PostgreSQL. I will just going to give what are the key topics. So if you see our course would be covering data warehousing, PostgreSQL and Power BI. So out of these three topics, the Power BI is going to be our major subject. Like in graduations, post graduations, we are going to have major and minor subjects, right? Similarly, the Power BI that we are going to cover is the major subject here. And the course is designed in a way that people who are not from the IT or who want to switch to the IT career, right? They can also easily join this course and start because there is no much of the prerequisites required to learn this course. Having a basic understanding about the Excel, Microsoft Office, PowerPoints is good enough. Okay, even if you people or someone is having, I mean, not struggling about those also. I mean, I have my previous class recordings for the Microsoft Excel tools like PowerPoint, Excel, and MS Word so that I can just share you those as a complimentary for all the registered students. I mean, who feel that they want to have some refresh about the Microsoft Office tools, right? Now, our course is designed in a way, right, that we are going to cover 70% Power BI, right, and rest of the 30% would be data warehousing and Postgres SQL. Okay, and within the Power BI, we are going to target PL 300 certification. And what is that certification? Is Power BI Data Analyst Associate, right? And students who want to crack the job, definitely certificate will give an added advantage from the outside people. Okay, suppose you are within the organization and you are switching to the Power BI, that is fine. Having sound knowledge is good enough. But people who are trying to search for the jobs or who want to change the career, definitely for the recruiters, this certification will give an additional advantage. Okay, that will help us to pick our resume quickly. So that is the reason our 15 days training is closely associated to crack the certification and the interview. Okay, and it's not about 15 days, it's about how we are also practicing after the class really matters. I'm honestly saying at the starting of the class. Okay, many have the doubt that is it 1 hour is really enough? Means no, not at all. 1 hour with a 15 days course is enough if you are also doing right level of homework after the class completed and before coming to the next class. Okay, so that is where really tells what you have understand in the class and how much you are able to put it on the paper, right? So next immediately you can have the queries and questions, right? Now let me show you a simple diagram, a simple flow diagram how we are going to work, right? And what we are going to do with Power BI. And is it all the things Power BI is going to do, or there are some other tools and technologies are going to help is we are going to see, right? Now, if you see in this particular slide, the data to insights journey, right? And a lot of tools, systems, and are available to handle the data in the organizations, right? If you see, there are good number of systems, either it can be a batch systems or online systems or something like HDFS system, right? All these systems are there. Now, what happens is when our business runs daily, a lot of data is captured. Now, when you say data, it's all about what activities are performed or what are the facts, right? What are the information related to the what happening in the business. Suppose if you take a Walmart, right? Each and every information related to the products should be captured in the database or in files, right? Or in some kind of images, right? And what are the sales happens? HR department is going to have a one system. Similarly, a finance department is going to have another system. Like that, there would be lot of systems are generating the data. Okay. In Azure terminology, we call it, is it like a data factory, right? Or in earlier days, we call it as a databases, data warehouse lakes, right? Now, our Power BI is going to read or pull the data from all these systems and going to generate a meaningful insights in a nice form of visualization, pictures, some numbers like highly values or some kind of pie charts, line chart, all these things. Okay. And our expertise is mainly on dealing with the Power BI, right? Which is going to be a mainly visualization. Now, what is the skill set that is required is kind of a business knowledge and the technical knowledge, which we are going to learn as a part of our course, right? And if you ask me, hey, Hari, do you really need to run all these systems that are working during the end-to-end journey? My simple answer is at this point of time, really not required if you are new to the IT world. Okay. What I would suggest is that, I mean, my strong is Power BI can act like an entry point. Why Power BI? Why not other systems? The reason is this Power BI is developed by Microsoft tool. Okay. And if you see the look and feel of the Power BI, let me quickly open Power BI in parallel. It more or less looks like a Microsoft Office tools, like it can be Excel. Let me open recent. Uh, Let me erase these things first. Uh, what is this one? Yeah, just 1 second. I will erase these lines quickly. Okay. It. Okay. Now, if you see, this is the Power BI dashboard that we created in our previous class, right? And if you see these visuals, right, people who has created a PowerPoint presentation, right? In the presentation, you would be having the visuals, bars, columns, and some write-up would be there, correct? So if you see the report view, it looks like a PowerPoint presentation. And if you go to the table view, right, it looks like an Excel sheet. Like in Excel, we would be having different sheets where we capture all those data, right? And we have another view, model view. Now, this view is going to give us a kind of a database architecture view, how the tables are connected and what kind of systems are having. Okay. And moreover, if you see the options available on the top, right, and how it is grouped, they are more or less looks like a you are working in Microsoft Office or PowerPoint. Suppose if I show you the PowerPoint, right, this is the PowerPoint. I just expand this one, always show ribbon. See, like how we have the different tabs and common functionalities are grouped under this tab. Similar thing here also. Okay, so my honest answer is if you are following the class and doing your homework religiously, right? 15 days is good enough. And after that, another 2 weeks to revise all the things for the certification. Okay, so exactly 1 month to target our certification. 15 days with along with the classes and practice, and another 15 days purely practicing the topics that we learned during the class. Okay, now coming back, what are all the different technologies are there to convert our data into insights? Now, if I show you that one, here it is, right? So, with businesses, right, very rigorously using the data, right, or the technologies, a huge amount of data is being created in the operational data systems, right? Now, within the operational system, there are a lot of front-end developers, front-end UI creators, or database admins are required to create all these systems, right? Similarly, there are data warehouse or data engineers are required to get all this data and to inject into the ETL or analytical processing, right? So when it comes to the Microsoft tools, Azure Data Factory and Databricks, all these comes into the picture, right? And similarly, we have data model and visualization, and we are going to be expert in this area. Okay, our hack is providing a training which covers all these end-to-end journeys also, right? It's about the student who really understand, okay, where I am really best fits and start that particular expertise. Okay, if some people, some students would be there, they are already in IT world and they would be doing some existing projects, so they can think of an end-to-end learning curve. Okay, but people who are the beginners or who want to land into the IT world, right? This data modeling and visualization can be a good entry point. Okay, because this is morely like it acts as a bridge between business and the technology world in both the ways. Okay, and the good thing with Power BI is since it's a visualization that we are going to fill for the top management, so we are going to have a good exposure to connect with the business people and understand more about business and their thoughts and terminology. Okay, this is about, and our focus is data modeling and visualization. Now, what are all the areas of expertise are there in the data world or data related project? Now, if you see the expertise, data engineering creates a lakehouse and operationalize your workflows to build, transform, and share your data sets. So, who is going to work in the middle area in the data engineer, data ingestion or analytic? It is going to the job of data engineers, right? Similarly, we have a data factories, right, where we are going to build solve complex data injection and transformations, data science, data warehousing. We are going to touch the fundamentals about the data warehousing, and the database also creates operational SQL database seamlessly for transactional workloads. Okay. Now, why Hari has kept these things? The reason because say you are working on Power BI, right? That means it is very important, right? And it is fundamental that we should know how our data is arranged or how our data engineers are providing data to us in terms of quality wise, in terms of consistency, integrity. Are they really meeting the expectations? And how we can know if you have a strong fundamental understanding about the data warehousing and the databases. Okay, because the success of a Power BI depends upon 50%, which I feel is about in understanding the data that you are supposed to work on it. Okay, many people who are new, they watch some YouTube recordings and they will quickly try to uh, drag and drop, create the visualizations. Like they will add a visualization and they will try to put some values here. Okay, but the underlying things comes when you really know what this data is about. Suppose if I see the sales table, I should have a clear understanding about what are all the columns, what are their data types, and what each column signifies. Okay, and we have a simple tools in the Power BI that we call is a data profiling. Okay, students may get, okay, boss, there are hundred thousands of records are there. How I am going to know what this table is about and how it is distributed, right? So for that we have, let me go to transform data. Let me select sales table and view data preview. Okay, we are going to learn about all these options in detail. Okay, that gives us a quick insights about what is our data, how it looks, and what is the best visualizations we can do. We are going to learn all these things as a part of our Power BI. Okay, and as I told you, right, our major course would be Power BI, and we have industry solutions, real-time intelligence, all these things are there. Okay. So if you come up with the topics, right? So within the data warehousing, we are going to cover the data warehousing concepts. Now, when it comes to the PostgreSQL, we are going to see a complete installation of database, right? How to install a database and how to work on it. And we would be learning DDL, DML, and queries and data types. Now, when you say DDL and DML, data definition language and data manipulation language, right? And the main purpose of learning this is like English, right? The English language, which is a universal language, right? If you are good in English, we can manage in majority of the countries, right? Similarly, learning SQL, structure query language, is very, very important for a person who want to work in the data related projects. Either it can be a data engineering side, data visualization, data science. Okay, even if you see the job profiles, I will go to there also. They will ask knowledge on SQL or Python, and Python is a coding language. Okay, SQL is a simple structured query language which looks like a simple English language, and we are going to cover that one. Okay, the main purpose of covering database is to have a quick understanding about the database fundamentals and more about SQL language, because we should be having a good sound knowledge on the SQL queries. Okay. Now, when it comes to the Power BI broadly, we are going to cover installation is pretty simple, like Power Query, Power Pivot, visualization, and publishing. All these things we are going to cover. Okay. And the detailed topics also defined here. Okay. Now, if you see the Power BI, like getting the data connection, how to do the connections to the different systems, and do some transformation and cleanup and merging and creating the functions and all those things. And further, we would be see the analyzing the data, visualizing and publishing, right? So these are all the things we are going to cover from the fundamentals to the mid level. Okay, so this is all about our course structures. Any questions before we go to the details about the certification and the job opportunities? Those are available from the course content, and we are going to have 15 classes. Okay, Monday to Friday for the America region, and for India, Australia, or US, Europe, it would be Tuesday to Saturday, right? Timings would be this one. Let me just get that slide. And each and every class would be recorded and uploaded in the YouTube. So the good thing with this is that yes, you can quickly watch them while you are traveling to office or while you are just relaxing, right? And that is completely available, okay, for next 1 year, those recordings. And you can also rejoin our upcoming classes if you want to do a refresh, or if you feel that you got disconnected due to whatever the reasons, or if you're not able to join the class due to whatever the reason, and we can have a one-on-one connect for your queries and doubts. Okay. The timings are like 8 p.m. CST Texas and 9 p.m. EST. Okay. And 2 a.m. for UK, 3 a.m. for Germany, Sydney 11 a.m. and India 6:30 a.m. Okay. The course fees You can see here covering 300 US 350. Okay, and we have a detailed breakup of each and every day. What are the topics we are going to cover, right? And subsequently, okay, if you see here the 3 weeks, first week we would be covering database, data warehousing and database. And from the second week, we are going to start from the Power BI course completely fully, right? And we are going to cover the artificial intelligence visuals also in detail, right? Now, like each and every course, we keep the most interesting and important topics during the end of the course, so that by that time you are familiarized with the foundational and fundamental things, and you have some good hands-on practice, so that you can further leverage what is the benefit that we are going to get with these artificial intelligence visuals. Okay, so I can say you that we are covering Power BI as a artificial along with the AI related tools. Okay, but what I personally feel is now there is no kind of a separate AI process. It's about how we are going to work on it. Okay, if you think that okay, today I am doing a work for half an hour, now how can I simplify that to 15 minutes? The people having this kind of mindset, definitely they would be selecting the best tools available in the Power BI. And I'm going to show you and how you can explore all those things as a part of our course curriculum in over the next 3 weeks. Okay, because if you see here, there are a good number of tools are there, and we are going to learn which visualization to be used for what purpose, and which are all the best ones, and which are can be used and which should be avoided. So these three kinds of categories we are going to see. What is our requirement? Who are our end users, report users? What kind of reports to be created for them? Okay, we are going to have couple of theoretical classes, fully theory, honestly saying, because the going to theory is also very, very important. Okay, but those classes also going to be more interesting because we have a nice presentations are prepared for those things. Okay, any questions or queries with, with respect to the course content and course structure timings, you can post it in the chat channel. Okay, uh, now coming to the certification, right? So our main target object of this course is to complete the certification and subsequently crack a job, right? Now for the cracking a job or to get the interview calls, right? Certification is one of the important. And what is the certification we are covering? Power BI Data Analyst Associate. Okay. And what is the level of this certification? Intermediate. Okay. Since we are going to uh, crack this one, definitely we should be having a certificate at minimum intermediate level. That is the reason we have taken this one. Okay, and the subject is data analytics, and the role that we can apply is data analytics analyst. Okay, and this course has a renewal frequency of 12 months. Okay, uh, but this renewal is free of cost. Okay, initially for registering exam it would be like $160 separate. Okay, and at this point of time you don't need to pay, but as and when we are coming to the end of the course, definitely we can get it registered with the help of my team. Okay, and work on the things. Okay, and good thing with this particular course is we are having prepare for the exam, practice for the exam, take the exam. This is another interesting thing, right? So we can take mock tests, practice tests, right? N number of times. And if we are consistently hitting the above 80%, that is the trigger for us. Okay, yes, we can go for the exam. Okay. Now, when you see prepare for the exam, right? There is a good number of topics are there. we can say the course. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 70% of these units and everything would be covered as a part of our course. Okay. And what I would suggest, like as I told you a couple of minutes before, right? 15 days we are going to practice and revise it, and another 15 days to again do a complete revision of this one, and we would be starting from here. Like we would be opening each and every course structure, and we are supposed to cover those things. Like if you see here, this is having 36 minutes it takes. 6 units are there, and just 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes. Okay, so the benefit of going through this is like this is the third time revision happened. First one is class, second one is your homework you are going to do, and the third revision is this one, doing a practice. Okay, and subsequently we can practice for the exam. Okay, take the practice assessment, launch the sandbox, and I'm going to provide you complete assistance on how to handle this one and how you can make it easy. Okay. See, for US $160, you can just change your country so that you can know what is the cost in your local currency, right? And if you take the practice assessment, the good thing with practice assessment is uh, that it provides a clear description about our answers and questions. You can read the personal account. Switch it. Okay, for now, fine. I'm not taking. Oh, it is asking all the things. Mm, India. Yeah. In the practice, in the certification exam, you are going to have 50 questions, right? And good thing is when you are answering these questions, we have an option to check your answer. Okay. And we can go through this one and we can further see the description, why it is right and why it is wrong or what is the details about. Your company uses Power BI to analyze sales data. The data model includes fact table and a dimension table. Which unique region names? You need to filter sales data by region. What should you do? Create one-to-many relation from regions tables to fact. Set cross-filter direction existing relation to single. I think I will go with the second one. Check your answer. See, this answer is correct. Creating one-to-many relation from region. And we are going to learn about what is these relations. Star and snowflake schema, all those things. Combined sales and region table inefficiently. Okay. So it's very important that we are not just selecting the answer and going to the next question. It's very important for the first time learners that you are clearly going through it. What is the reason, right, for that one? You have begun process of creating Power-based semantic model by connecting data source based on multiple tables in SQL. You need to modify relation. So modify relation, normally it would be using model. See, the relation between tables is configurable from the model view. Okay, and we are going to learn all these things. Okay, I'm just coming back. So our aim is to target certification. Okay, now the important thing is how the market is there, how the opportunities are there, right? I just want to give you a simple thing. Whatever we are discussing about the new technologies that are coming, artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, right? All these things are purely relied on the data for sure. Okay. Without not having a quality data, right? All these things are not going to work. Even Copilot, right? Or whatever we are seeing, they are purely working based on huge amounts of historical data, right? that is quality, clean, and clear, right? So, which means there is a good demand for the data engineers down the line. Power BI jobs in USA. I normally quickly go with the LinkedIn thing so that I can quickly show you. Like cybersecurity is there, right? We have a lot of new threats are coming across the globe. That means the demand is not going to came down. Similarly, people who are working in the data related tools and technology stacks, definitely they would be having a upper hand. Okay. Now let me show you what are the jobs available in USA. And I can see how many are there. Just one second at the top, 7,000. But let it be more specific that we will go with intern, entry level, and associate because I really don't want to exaggerate the numbers because we may not be able to go mid senior director executives, right? So around 3,000 jobs are there, right? And if I just select the first one and see uh, the things. Steward, we know this is a lot of, right? Conduct comprehensive analysis for both quantitative quality diverse internal and external sources contributing significantly to strategic business decisions. Demonstrate proficiency in crafting, executing complex data queries, utilizing advanced analytics to generate dashboard metrics, actionable insights, pinpointing trends, and we are all going to go through, learn all these topics, right? And these are all the job responsibilities and what they are asking, right? Solving, where is this one? Working with perform range of assignments may lead to the project with own discipline, right? Education, experience, all these things typically requires 2+ work years of experience committed. Okay. Uh, where is the Power BI? Tech stack is not mentioned, or did we miss it? Directly it is mentioned as Power BI developer, so obviously a Power BI is really skilled. Engage in data collection, maintenance, analysis to support evaluation, assessment, strategically planning. Okay, so all these things, anomaly detection, all those things. Okay, so again, Power BI developer, what is the things they are asking? Strong experience with Microsoft Power BI, proficiency in DAX, Power Query, data models we are going to learn. Strong SQL skill and experience with various databases, strong analytical communication and problem solving skills, right? Now, if you see here that they are also asking SQL skill, okay? Because if you say I'm a Power BI developer, definitely the expectation is that you are going to have a good understanding about the SQL also. Design, develop, deploy Power BI reports, dashboards, and scorecards. Create and optimize data. Sorry, Power Query, etc. Integrate data from multiple sources. So that is what we did in our previous class. We have multiple sources are there. If you see these particular tables, data model, right? These tables are from different sources they are from. Okay, we are going to learn. And what is the salary they are offering? 100K to 120K per annum. Okay, and further benefits. And if you see opportunities wise, especially for Power BI, right, we are having a good amount of opportunities are there. It's all about that we are rightly upskilling ourselves. Advantage growth, advanced AC, bachelor degree, strong analytical problem, basic knowledge of Excel, SQL, and data tools. Good communication and document skills is going to be by default, right? And for a Power BI analyst, it is also going to add good analytical skills also. Okay. Data analyst junior. Job wise, yes, we are having a good number of openings. We don't need to worry about it. It's all about how we are hitting the button. We are seeking talented data analyst or BI developer to join our dynamic team. This role focuses on developing and enhancing Power BI report solutions, developing and maintaining Power BI dashboards and reports, standardized KPIs, metric definition, collaboration, stakeholder, building enhanced DAX measures, Power Queries. So this profile is going to be best suit for what we are learning. Bachelor 2 years, proven experience, analytical skills, detail oriented. And if you see familiarity with SQL, Snowflake and Git versions. Okay. So the having SQL or Python, right? One of the fundamental as one of the prerequisites now in almost all the data related projects. Okay. But definitely it's not mandatory that we should be having both. But if you are good in one area, then definitely that is going to be advantage in the selection criteria. Okay. So a good number of jobs are there across US and across the world. Okay, for sure. And just a closing note for the this particular first half, what I would say is the Power BI is a good entry point and for the people who want to switch their career because it's not going to have a lot of coding stuff, right? Or kind of a complex, lengthy lines of code and everything. Majority, 90% things are drag and drop. And honestly saying, Power BI is going to write the code based on our activities that we perform. Now, if you see here, these are all the steps. Those are actioned, applied steps. That means we have trimmed the text, we have filtered the rows, we have changed the type. Now, if I show you the underlying code that is written, this is mQuery language. If you see it is going, and all these things are written by Power BI. Okay, and it's good that we would be understanding this one in the starting, and as and when we go on, definitely we can also learn this and we can become a pro. Okay. Okay, what I will do is I will just quickly pause the class here, stop sharing. Okay, can you confirm once again that you are able to see my laptop screen and audible and I'm audible and clear? You can ping in the chat channel. Okay, thank you. So data warehousing, right? So I hope you guys have some understanding about the warehousing, right? We would have listened this word about the warehousing in the industries, right? Or in somewhere where we mainly keep our businesses keep their goods and goods, right? Suppose if you have a manufacturing unit, right, it is going to maintain a warehouse to keep its raw materials or to keep its finished goods either one or other way, right? What is the purpose of this one is just to make sure that they can get maximum profits, right, by taking the opportunity of buying the raw material when the cost is cheaper, similarly selling our products when the market there is a high demand or the prices are high, right? This is a general terminology. Similarly, right? In the database world or in the world, we have a concept called data warehousing, right? Now, to explain this one, let me show you a simple diagram. Let me open a new file and also a data warehousing. Okay, let me get the image copied. because for a quick access, I just copied the images, right? This is one of the simple and a straightforward like flow diagram, right? That is going to help a lot to understand what data warehousing means, right? Now, what happens is in earlier days, right, when the technology is evolving and we are capturing all our day-to-day activities in the databases or files, right? Suppose if you take a Walmart or a Reliance or something, a kind of a banks, right? American National Banks, whatever it may be, all their day-to-day activities are captured in the databases, right? And like operational systems, either it can be a HR system database, or it can be a manufacturing database, or it can be something, a kind of a admin related files. Now, over a period of time, this particular data is growing day by day. Okay. And what we call these systems, those are used for the operational purpose or day-to-day purpose are called online transactional processing systems. What we call them? Online transactional processing systems. Okay, in a short, we term it as OLTP. Okay, I'm just merging this one. OLTP. Now, what is the purpose of this OLTP? It is going to capture all the day-to-day transactions, those are happening at the business, right? And if some customer comes and asks, hey, this is my purchase I done yesterday. Now I want to do some replacement. So that means from that millions of data, right? They are they should have a capability of very fastly retrieving that one record so that customer don't wait or he don't feel that systems are working slower. Okay, so in that way the operational systems are designed to store large volumes of data but has the capability of retrieving smaller records but faster. Okay, now over a time some business analyst, right, or some the data analyst, right, they thought that okay, we have large amounts of data is sitting, why don't we do some analysis on it, right? Over a period of time we have the data related to the multiple years. Say I have 2 years of sales data, right, or I am having a 5 years of sales data. Now the technology people seen this as an opportunity, right? Okay, let us start analyzing this data and figure out how our organization is running, how our sales are happening, how our profits are happening over a period of time. And they started doing analysis. I mean, these persons have started doing analysis on these systems directly. Okay. Now, what happened at one point of time when the businesses are running the operational system, these systems are serving for the operational traffic, and at the same time people are pulling the analysis. Now, if you want to do the analysis, right, you need to pull entire data. You need to sum up, aggregate it, all those things, right? Just think of it if you have a monthly expenses list is there. Consider you are capturing your monthly expenses on daily basis, right? Now, if you want to do some analysis on it, one, how much you are spending, right? That means you need to retrieve all the records, sum up everything, and then come up to a aggregate value, right? So which means the analytical processing needs to pull the data, huge amount of data, and do the summarization. Now, since both the exercise is being done on the operational systems, the performance has drastically came down. Okay. Now this is the trigger point that okay, why we should do both the activities on the same system and result in the performance issues. Okay, let us do one thing. By the end of the day, once the business processing is completed, say when you close your stores, right? At the end, either it's 6 p.m. or 11 p.m., which means the online process is stopped, right? At this point of time, run some extraction, right? Pull the data, whatever has changed on that day, or whatever the new records added, and keep them in a separate databases. And how you are going to keep them? It's not like in a way that we are keeping in operational systems. Capture the raw data as it is, maintain complete history, right? And also keep some summarized data. Say daily you are capturing and you are running some ETL, extract, transformation, and loads, right? And during that time only, while you are cleaning the data and transforming, summarize it, right? Calculate what is the monthly sales, calculate what are the quarterly sales, and store that information so that whenever you want that kind of requirement, you can quickly go and pull the data from the summarized data. Again, you don't need to rework in summarization. And metadata. So when we say metadata, it's about the data. Metadata means information about what kind of data you are storing. Okay, one classic example for this is the regulators normally come to the banks and some organizations and they will ask how you are storing the customer data that you are capturing, right? And they have some guidelines also. So we need to prove that yes, we are using the customer related information as per the guidelines given by these regulatories. And we know, right, for each and every business lines, we have regulatories. For banking, we have separate regulatories. For retail, we have a regulatory. So they formalize those rules. Okay. So in a way, the warehouse or data warehouse would be used to take the copy of the day-to-day transactions, changes, keep their raw form, summarized form, and metadata. And this particular data warehouse, it's again a database only. Okay, underlying technology is database, but the way we are storing is changing. That is the reason we calling it as data warehouse. Okay, so on top of the data warehouse, we create a data marts. Now data marts are again a data warehouse only. The same features, everything is same like a data warehouse. It is just a subset of warehouse. Like a separate schema we are creating for the purchasing department, a separate copy we are creating for the sales department or inventory department, so that the end users who are specific to that particular functionality that they handle that kind of things instead of they having exposure to complete data because organizations again have a right level of restrictions. Okay, so now this part we call it as online analytical processing systems, OLAP. Okay, so this is very important. We need to be clear about these concepts. And why we should be clear about these concepts? Because based on these concepts only, our entire tools and technology stacks are built, right? We have online analytical process, online transactional processing is there, which is handling the day-to-day business or front-end systems. Similarly, at the end of the day, we are taking a copy of this data, right? And this becomes like a data factory or a data source also. Like if you see in this particular image, data factory, okay? And if you split this into the technology stack wise, this would be sitting at operational data, right? And that would be flow to the data injection or ETL. And people should be very having a clear understanding how this data, what is our data origin, what kind of layers it is passing. Okay. And we also call this as a data lineage, tracing the data from origin to the end. Okay. And analytical systems are used for the analytical processing by keeping raw data, summary data, and metadata. Okay. So this is the main crux of data warehousing. And within this, we would be learning how the data is stored. Okay, how it is going to store the way that so that it can be used very effectively, faster and quicker way, right? Now, when it comes to the some basic theoretical part about the data warehousing, let me open that article because we have a nice article within the AWS, right? I'm going to share that article. Let me open that one. Just give me 1 second. And after each and every class, right, I'm going to send you the homework mail or assignment mail, whatever you feel that, okay, but I feel that that's a project work that you should be completing. Just let me open class one. Yeah, if you see the subject line, you would be seeing like this: class 1, class 2, class 3, right? And the concepts that we have covered and the batch net, right? And in this, you are going to have the class recording as the first of it to rewatch it again and make your familiarize, and the topics that you are supposed to read and come up with the practice, right? Now, let me open what the data warehousing says about. See, is a central repository of information that can be analyzed to make more informed decisions, right? So whatever we learned just now, okay, just the theoretical part of it. Data flows into data warehouse from transformation transactional systems, relational database, and other source, typically regular. Business analysts, data engineers, data scientists, decision makers access through business intelligence tools. Now we are the one, right? We are going to access this data through business intelligence tools or SQL clients to analyze this one. And if you see, data and analytics have become indispensable to business to stay competitive. Business users rely on reports, dashboard, and analytical tools to extract insights from their data, right? So now the current businesses, right? The people who take the decisions, right? They strongly depend on these reports. So it is very important that the reports that we are creating are accurate, consistent, right? And completeness is important. Data warehouse powers these reports, dashboards, and analytical tools. Okay. And more about data warehouse architecture. A data warehouse architecture is made up of three tiers. The top tier is front-end client application that presents results through reporting, analyze, and data mining. The middle tier consists of analytical engine that is used to access, analyze data. Now, if I just correlate this statement, right? See, this is the top tier. Front-end clients that presents results through reporting, analysis, and data mining tools. These are the reporting mining tools. The middle tier consists of analytics engine that is used to access and analyze the data. This one. The bottom tier of the architecture is database servers where data is loaded and stored. These are the things. Okay. So I would just want you to correlate the what they are saying with the image so that you can quickly understand and easily can work on these things. Okay. Similarly, further details, but what are the benefits of using data warehouse? Informed decision making, consolidate data from many sources, right? So we are getting data from multiple sources into a single system. Historical data analysis. Yes, I'm going to maintain complete raw data. In operational systems, we don't maintain the historical data. Okay, we maintain the latest information so that these systems can work faster. Okay, whereas in warehouse, we keep the historical data, that is the raw data. Data quality, consistency, accuracy. Separation of analytical processing from transactional database, which improves performance of both the systems. That is what we are doing. We are separating analytical activities from the operational systems, right? A nice article that is going to help you to understand more about data warehousing. Okay, now who has introduced the data warehousing? WH Inman and Ralph Kimball. Now they are the two great scientists, right? And they proposed the data warehousing concepts. Okay, boss, we decided that we are going to take a copy of our operational data on day-to basis, right? And then how we are going to store? What are the fundamentals that we need to follow while we are storing the data in the data warehousing? So that subsequently the data science, right, or the business analyst, data analyst, they can use these systems more effectively. Okay. Now, this has proposed in 19th century and 1980s or 90s, but definitely still this is a one stop. Okay. Uh, okay. Now, if you see here, what Kimball has suggested, Kimball approach to design data warehouse is introduced by Ralph Kimball, right? The approach starts with recognizing the business process and questions the data warehousing answers. Okay. Now, what Kimball has proposed is, let me open the image, right? If you see this one, we are having different departments or different sources, right? Data would be coming within an organization from multiple sources, correct? Now, what Kimball has proposed is, okay, boss, let us create a separate data marts for each and every department. Now, HR department is there, right? They would be mainly focusing on how the salaries are there, how much total salaries we are giving, what are the day-to-day expenses, right? How many employees are there, what is the salary grades, all this kind of information is mainly required. So what it says that let us build a simple data mart for the HR department. Okay. Similarly, if you have the marketing department, let us create a separate data mart for the marketing department. So that is what it says, identifying the business lines. The process starts with recognizing the business process and questions that data warehousing has to answer. This set of information being analyzed and documented well. The ETL software brings all data from multiple sources called data marts, then it is loaded into the common area. So ETL, extract, transform, load. There are a lot many tools are there in the market which do these jobs, and the cloud tools also now very accurately, very rigorously being used, right? So what it says is that I'm going to create data mart for each and every department, and then I will integrate all these data marts into a single data warehouse. So on the stop, whoever want to do the reporting, that they are going to do the things. Okay. Now, what is the benefit of this one? Since we are starting with small chunks, so the initial cost would be less and we can do iteratively. I mean, we can build a solution and we can give to the business so that they can start working on it and they provide us the feedback, all those kind of things. Okay. On the other side, what Inmon has proposed. Now, what Inmon is suggesting, right? He's another scientist, right? No, boss, don't go with the individual department lines. Get all the source systems into the data warehouse first. Get all the data. Now, we call this as enterprise data warehousing or enterprise data platforms. This is the new terminology coming. Okay. And what he says is that if you are creating multiple data marts, then there would be chances of duplication of data because each data mark works in silos. They create their own tables or they create their own MIs. So Inmon suggested, no, get all the systems into the single place. I'm going to provide a cloud solution, AWS, use it, get all the systems there and build the warehouse and from the warehouse take a copy. Okay, not the exact physical copy, but you can have a logical copy, okay, where you can view only the specific to your department and then can report on those things. Okay, and the benefit of this one is you don't have the data redundancies because everything is sitting at one place, but you need a strong SMEs, subject matter experts who can integrate all these systems, who can create the relations and everything. And the initial cost is huge, but later on maintenance cost would be less. Okay, though let me show you a comparison. Before going with the comparative analysis, uh, whatever you learned or observed till now, which system do you think which model do you think is the best one? Is it a Enmon or Kimball? Any thought process? Which system do you think the best fit? Okay, so correct. So both are, I mean, in a way, both are being served to the business well. Okay. The reason because is based on the company's capabilities, right? Or how much company can fund it and the requirements. No, both are successful. Okay. It depends upon the company's current state and how they can manage it. Okay. Now let us see a comparative thing. And trust me, we all know Newton laws, right? I hope you remember those. So even though latest technologies has came, right, advanced technologies, but these Newton's third law, first law, they are still intact. And all these tools and everything, applied science is being built on those laws only. Similarly, our data warehousing tools, business intelligence tools, artificial intelligence, everything builds on these fundamentals only. So it is very important that we are strong in our fundamentals, right? Now, if I see the comparison introduced by Ralph Kimball and Bill Imon, approach, bottom up approach for the implementation, right? Which means if you see the organization structure, right, you would be having a top management. Again, there would be layers in the middle management, and you would be having different departments, right? And furtherly, we will come down. Now, Kimball, right, they start working with the departments, right, and then integrate at the organization level. That's why it's a bottom up approach. Whereas Inmon is a top-down approach, right? We are saying that no, we will build a solution at enterprise level by getting all the systems and then we will give a copy to each department. So it's a top-down approach. Focus on individual business areas, right? Because people will come from that business lines and they start building it. Focus on enterprise wide. It takes it is efficient and take less time, yes, because we are building from one particular department, so that is fine. And it is complex and consumes a lot of time, right? Even at a time, we may not know when are we going to end this one because enterprise level, lot of new systems are going to add, right? A new solution someone would have brought into the organization. So that means the data also should be fed into the enterprise data warehousing, right there. It is iterative and cost effective, obviously, because we are not doing a big bang kind of thing. Initial cost is used and the development cost is low, right? Initially, right, for the design, finalizing, and we need SMEs and all those things. We need to pull many people onto the table, so initial cost is used. But once things are finalized, then the same framework can be used and quickly deployment can be done with a low cost. It does not need such a skill, but a generic team will do the job, right? It needs specialized skill to make to work. Maintenance is difficult. See, this is the what we call disadvantages for the Kimball. Maintenance is difficult because we would be having lot of small data marts. Here maintenance easy because you have the single view from the top, right? It prefers data to be denormalized. It prefers data to be normalized, right? Now, what it mean by denormalized and normalized? And guys, I want your full attention here. The reason because like how the data warehousing concepts are important. Within that one, this concept of denormalize and normalize is very, very important. What it mean by denormalized model? Okay. For this one, I have created a data ready. Okay. I'm going to show you that example, right? Now let us say we have a sales table, okay, where we are capturing the sales information. Now, whenever you go to the shop, right, he is going to take all your information, your name, address, phone number, contact details, and everything, right? Even though if we say that, boss, you already have my details, but he may say, sorry, sir, those may be old details, we want to collect it, right? And information about whatever we are purchasing, right? A big form would be there we are going to fill. Now, in a denormalized form, right, what it will do is we are going to keep all or majority of information in a single table. Okay. And the operational systems normally follows this approach. The reason because as I told you, right, whenever I go back to the same shop, right, and I say, boss, this is my particular purchase order. Now I want to review this purchase order, right? And we would be having a fraction of seconds or milliseconds because customer is not going to wait and there would be a big queue would be happening, right? So in this case, if all the information was sitting in one table, then the retrieval of that particular information would be faster. It's as simple as it is. If you're keeping all the items that are required in a single room, right? Then you can quickly pull the data in one shot, right? But it may be slightly unorganized, right? And sometimes it may be redundant also. Now, what is the problem with this one is every time when I purchase or Michael purchase, whoever purchase, we are going to capture their address and everything. So that means the data duplication is happening, data redundancy is happening. Okay, and we all know, right? If you want more disk space, then we need to purchase from the IT companies. So, which means we are going to pay for the data that may not be really helpful for us. Okay, so in a denormalized form, we are going to store the details in a single table as much as possible, right? So that the data retrieval will be fasting and operational systems use this one. Now, when it goes to the analytical systems or data warehouse, where we are going to store the history for multiple years, right? If we are going with this approach, then your cost would be exponentially increasing. So for that one, right, our scientist has decided a normalization approach. Now, normalization means instead of storing the data in a single table, now let us record which are all the attributes those are going to be repeated. Suppose a customer is going to repeat multiple times. So let us create a customer table and store all his information. Customer address is going to be repeated. Then let us store customer address. Similarly, products. right? We would be having same product purchased by multiple customers. So let us create a table, that is a products table, where we are going to store the detailed information of that product, and we are going to use that particular reference key in the sales table. Now if you see here, the difference between normalization and denormalization, right? For the customer details, address details, products detail, instead of storing the complete value, we are taking their foreign keys or reference keys. Now, if I want to know what is this customer, then I will take this ID1 and search in the customer table. That is Harish Kumar. Okay. So the process of storing data in multiple tables by having a logical relation between them is called normalization. Okay. What is the help of this one is it is going to reduce the data redundancy. The usage of disk space would be exponentially reduced, and for analytical purpose, this also improves the performance. Okay. Now, sorry guys. Now, in these tables, like a customer or profile table or products table, right? We call them as a dimension tables, right? For a for a shapes, we would be having dimensions, right? So we call them as dimension tables, and each record would be having a primary key, and this primary key acts as a foreign key in the sales table. And we call this sales table, that is capturing the activities or events, by referring to the dimension table as fact table. And if I want to show you a simple diagrammatic representation of this one, right? Let me open an article from our Microsoft Power BI. Where is my Gmail? Normalize and denormalize. And this article is from Power BI, okay? And the interesting thing is Power BI is also using the data warehouse concept, and I just want to show you that line. Star schema is a mature modeling approach widely adopted by relational data warehouse. It requires modelers to classify their model tables as either dimensions or facts. Okay, so what are dimensions? Dimension table describe the business entities, right? Entities can be include products, people, places, and concepts, including time itself. Now, if I correlate this one to our table, the dimension tables are related to the people, products, or observation, anything. Okay. A dimension table contains key column that acts as a unique identifier, and other columns supports the filtering. We are having a key column. This is primary key, and I'm going to tell you what it means by primary key. Okay. Primary key is like a column that uniquely represents each and every record. It cannot be duplicate or empty, and it is going to help in uniquely representing each and every record. Okay. On the other side, fact table stores observations or events. When you say observations, say weather forecasting observations. When you say the events, the sales order, stock balance, exchange rates, all those things. The fact table contains the key column that relates to the dimension table and numeric measure columns, right? Now, if I show you the fact table, it is having the key columns, the foreign key columns where it can go to the dimension and pick the unique value from the dimension table, and quantities, measures, date of purchase, total cost, all those things. Okay. The dimension key columns determines the dimensionality of the fact table, while dimension key values determines granularity of the fact table. Okay, and let me show you an interesting diagram here. This will give or clears all your doubts. A fact table or a kind of a sales table or some kind of a observations table if it is a kind of a weather forecasting, right? Which would be storing all the sales information. Now, instead of storing a detailed information about each and every sale item, it is going to store the primary key of the product to know which product is there in that particular sales order, employee who has placed that order, employee ID, territory that means location, the location ID, and the date when it has happened. Along with these primary columns in this particular fact table, you would be having the measures or quantities, how much quantity, how much cost, okay, all those things. Okay, so the process of storing data into multiple tables in a logical form, we call it as a normalization. Okay, and if you are storing one fact table surrounded by single level of dimension table, this is called as a star schema because it looks like a star, right? See, normalization and denormalization. Normalization is the term used to describe data that's stored in a way that reduces repetitiveness of data. And a simple example it has provided. Consider table with product that has a unique key column like product key. It is going to store only the product key in the normalized table. Okay. However, the sales table stores products table beyond the key. It is considered as denormalized. So instead of storing only the key, it is also storing the full details of the product. Then we call it as a denormalized, right? And where it is going to repeat all the information. Okay. When you score data from export file, it is likely to represent denormalized. Star schema relevance to Power BI. Star schema designs and many related concepts introduced in this article are highly relevant to developing Power BI model that are optimized for performance and usable. Okay, why? Because the each Power BI report visual generates query that send data from the Power BI semantic model, and practically it is not possible to create a semantic model with single table. Okay, we would be having multiple tables like this one. See, fact table dimension 1 to many relation. Star means many. In the data world, wherever you come, star means it's like a synonym for all or many. Okay, and that reverse is not going to happen, 1 to many. Okay. A well-structured model design includes tables that are either dimension table or fact table, avoiding mix of two types. Okay. Now, like we have the star schema, right? In some cases, this dimension table further refers to another dimension table. Okay. One classic example is your customer address table. Okay. Now, if you see, we have a customer address table that is storing the address, and this is a dimension table for sales. Okay. But if you see, if you are also adding city name and state, they are going to repeat it, right? Because within the city, you are going to have hundreds of customers, and within the state, you are going to have thousands or millions of customers, right? So instead of repeating the city and state, I will create another table called city table, and I store unique values of each and every city. I think this is New Jersey. Okay. And I'm going to take the city ID unique key in the customer address table. So in this way, we are reducing the data repeatedness further. And if we have this multi-level child, parent, child, grandchild, then we call it as a snowflake. Where is that one? Here it is. So a fact table referring to the dimension table. This dimension table further refer to another dimension table, right? This looks like a snowflake symbol. Previous one looks like a star, so it is called as a star schema. And this looks like a snowflake, so it is called a snowflake schema. Okay, so this is all about, see, star again converts snowflake if we have multiple connections. So I'm going to share you these articles, right? They are pretty crystal clear, and going through them once and practicing the assignment I provide is good enough for you and prepared for the next class. Okay, fine. So we have covered data warehousing, data mart, star and snowflakes, data normalization and denormalization, dimensions and fact table. Okay. We pretty covered all the topics in the data warehousing, so I will pause the class here